Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be tackling a puzzle today that's been recommended to us by none other than the great Codec. And it's called Quadrants, and it's by Supware, for whom I think that this is a debut on the channel. And the greatest praise I can pay this puzzle before solving it is that the rule set reminds me of Art van de Wetering, the brilliant Dutch constructor. It is incredibly short. You can see there's very little sort of given in the grid. And we'll do the rules properly in a moment. But the idea is that any 2x2 region that doesn't have a circle must contain digits that sum to a multiple of 4. And that is it. That's it. It's just called Quadrants, and literally it's about quadrants, and fascinating idea. No idea how hard it is. We did have one tester who has looked at it, and they didn't tell me. They just said it was brilliant. So actually, I think Codec's email said something about, I don't think it's meant to be monstrously hard. You'll be able to judge hopefully from the length of the video, assuming I've managed to get through it at all. But this is what I will try to tackle for you in today's video. Now, what do I need to tell you about other than that? I will mention briefly that over on Patreon we have Blobz wonderful oil and water Sudoku hunt. Oh, I haven't got my thing. We've had the league table going, showing how many solves we've had, but I forgot to open it today, so I haven't got it. But anyway, it's an absolutely wonderful hunt. Thousands of you have had a go at it already and have loved it, so do check it out. You've got until the 20th to enter the competition. That is plenty of time, and the prize will be the chance to make a Sudoku video that will appear on the channel, where you and I will solve a puzzle together. So if that might appeal, do check it out. I think you will enjoy it. Other than that, I've got some birthdays to do. Let me look at my list. Well, actually, no, I'm wrong. I have one birthday to do, but rather charmingly, I received 2 emails about this birthday, and it is to say happy birthday to Jessica, who's turned 36 today. And Jessica, I know it's your birthday because I had an email. In fact, I had 2 emails from your husband Cody, and I had one email from your daughter Emery as well. Yeah, I understand that you do watch the channel. I think is Cody the main watcher, and you've sort of started to watch by osmosis, but you're getting more into it. And I know for a fact, I hope I'm not spoiling anything here, that Emery is planning on making you a chocolate cake today, which I am assured will be yummy. So Jessica, I think you're in for a good birthday. Congratulations to you and Cody on your recent 15th wedding anniversary, I believe. I'll let Cody tell you the story of how I know that. And yeah, Jessica, many happy returns, and thanks for watching the channel. Now, the other 2 things I've got to announce today are not birthdays, they are Mother's Days. Now, it's not Mother's Day in the UK today, but I think the other side of the pond is Mother's Day. And in Canada, Harriet, it's your Mother's Day. No, Harriet, it's Mother's Day in Canada, and your son Adam wrote to us and wanted to wish you happy Mother's Day, describing you as the most supportive, encouraging, caring and wise mum he could have ever asked for, and saying that you are very much responsible for the man he is today, which is rather a lovely message. And Harriet, I hope you have a great day today, and I hope you can find some chocolate cake to celebrate. And then we'll go slightly south of Canada to Oregon, where Nancy, it's Mother's Day there as well. And I know this because your daughter, is it Lila? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Lila wrote to us. And I think Lila introduced you to Cracking the Cryptic back in the day, but I understand that you do enjoy watching now, so thank you for doing that. And Nancy, I hope you have a great day today, and of course I hope there is some chocolate cake in store. And they are all the announcements. So without further ado, let's have a look at Quadrants by Supware and see what this very much sort of Ard van der Wetering feel-like puzzle has in store for us. The rules are, well, I've almost done them already. We have normal Sudoku rules applying, which means we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Additionally, the sum of the digits in any 2 by 2 region not containing a circle must be a multiple of 4. So those digits sum to a multiple of 4. Those digits sum to a multiple of 4. Those digits sum to a multiple of 4. Those digits do not sum to a multiple of 4. Well, Actually, I don't know that. I'm not sure I do know that. I don't know whether there's a negative constraint, so I'm not sure if there is a foursome containing a circle, whether they must not sum to a multiple of 4. Yeah, it's not phrased that way. I don't think I can assume that. I think I've just got to use the knowledge I do know about foursomes, if you like, or quadrants that don't have a circle. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I presume I look there, do I? I've got 6 so far. So that, hang on, I was going to make that add up to 10. Why was I going to do that? That's not a multiple of 4. I need, what do I need? I can't have another 2. That won't work, because that will give me 8, which is a multiple of 4. That's got to be 6, I think. I think mathematically it was 2, 6, or 10. And the only valid Sudoku digit that won't repeat is 6. So we immediately get a digit up here. Now what do we do? Can we do stuff here, or is it here? I'm not really sure. I'm not. Is this something to do with modulus arithmetic? That is a question I don't know the answer to. 4 is even. I know that's a very fatuous thing to say. It's true. Yeah, 4 is even. So I think we can do something with parity in box 1. So look at those 4 squares. Now at the moment we're adding up to an odd number, aren't we? And that means that this domino here must contain digits that also add to an odd number, in order that this quadrant overall adds to an even number, and hopefully adds to something that's a multiple of 4. So how do we make those 2 cells contain an odd number? Well, they're going to contain an odd and an even number. One of these will be odd, one of these will be even. And that, I think, is important, not for particularly this domino, but perhaps for this domino. Because we've got 1 plus 3 there, that's even. So these have to sum to an even number, which means that they have the same parity. They're either both odd or both even. Now, if they were both even, I'd have too many even digits in this box. Because in Sudoku, you've got the even digits 2, 4, 6, and 8. And if I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, that's too many. So I think they are both odd. So this is even. Because I need 4 evens in the box, and I've only got 1 here. Now, okay, so what does that mean? Right, okay, if we look at this foursome here, we can do something. Because the options for these digits are 5, 7, and 9. Now, I am starting to think about this in terms of modular arithmetic. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is I'm adding 1 plus 3 together and I'm getting 4. And in my brain, I'm therefore sort of forgetting about that part of the equation. Because I know that this part of the sum, these 2 cells in this foursome, are a multiple of 4. So I don't have to sort of worry about those. What I have to worry about is making those two cells a multiple of 4 as well, in order that the whole quadrant is a multiple of 4. Now look here, we've got 5, 7 and 9. Now 5 and 9 are interesting because they both have a remainder of 1 when divided by 4. If you divide 5 by 4, you get 1 remainder 1. If you divide 9 by 4, you get 2 remainder 1. So if these two squares were 5 and 9, we can forget, we don't have to do the sum. We just know we'll overall, that quadrant will have a remainder of 2 when divided by 4, because 5 and 9 each have a remainder of 1, and 1 and 3 together have a remainder of 0. So there must be a 7 here. There must be. There'll be a 7 which has a 3 remainder and either 5 or 9. So up here, what we've now got is, or what have we got? We've got 1 of 5 and 9 which has a 1 remainder. Yeah, so this has to be 4 and 8. 4 or 8 as the even digit, I think. Because we've got 1 that has a 1 remainder, 2 that has a 2 remainder. So those two squares together have a 3 remainder when divided by 4. And one of the odd digit here is 5 or 9, which is a 1 remainder. So those 3 digits, the 1, the 2, and the 5 or the 9, are 0 remainder overall, which means the even digit that is in this foursome, that's in this domino, has to be 4 or 8. So this, okay, which actually I could have got by Sudoku. Why do I do these things to myself? Yeah, okay, but we can go further, because I can look at this quadruple now. This is, oh no, I can't. Hang on. Or can I? If this is even, then I've got a 4-8 pair which has a 0 remainder, so this would be a 7. This would be 1 and 7. But if this is odd, oh, it can't work. It does work, it just didn't work. It doesn't work the way around I thought it did. Yeah. Okay, so what we can say is this can't be odd. Let me show you why. If this is odd, we know it's 5 or 9. And now we've got 3 odd digits here that must together have a 0 remainder, because this has a 0 remainder. When I say 0 remainder, I mean when divided by 4. So you've got a 1 remainder plus another 1 remainder, so that's 2 remainder, plus either a 1 or a 3 remainder. So you're not getting the right modularity. So this digit has to be even, this digit has to be odd in the corner. This is therefore definitely not 5 or 9, that's 4 or 8. This is 5 or 9. And the way that this is going to have to work is that's got to be a 7. Because now we're on perfect remainder, 1 remainder, so this has to have a 3 remainder in order to return us to sanity. There we go. If anyone could possibly, I think this puzzle is about parity. It may not be about sanity, but it's about parity. And I'm sure that people are watching this thinking, this guy is an absolute lunatic. But that's the way I think about these things. I'm really sorry, but that is just true. Now, so as you can see, like from a modular perspective, it now doesn't matter what this digit is, because this will always be a multiple of 4, whether this is 5 or 9. Same with this, same with this. Right. Okay, I can't see anything to do up here, so I presume we go down here, do we? I'm going to parity colour these. So let's do that. Now, the circle is not... Yeah, so boxes 1 and 9, or box 1 doesn't even have a circle. And box 9 has a circle, but it's been sort of pushed into the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner, but somebody somewhere has put that circle in the corner. But there are still some quadrants in this box. There are 3 quadrants that don't touch the circle. So those 2 digits, that has to be one of each parity, doesn't it? Because this is adding to an odd number, so this must add to an odd number. And what are we doing then? We've got 9, which has a 1 remainder, and 8, which has a 0 remainder. So we're on a 1 remainder, and then the even digit here will be, well, if it's 4, if the even digit there is 4, then we need a 3 remainder digit for the odd digit. So there will be, it couldn't be a 7, so this would be, this is 4, 3. But if the even digit is 2 or 6, both of those have a 2 remainder. Oh, so then we need 1 or 5. Oh, goodness. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so there's a lot of possibilities here. That's a little bit surprising. See, it's almost like the colouring in this box is tricky. I'd love to know which of these was odd and even, because I think the parity of this one is the same as the parity of this one, because these have to those two have to be an odd and an even to make this quadrant add up to an even number overall. So if this was even, this has to be odd, and if this is odd, this is even. So these two have the same parity. We don't know what that is, do we? And the circles themselves don't actually mean anything. They're simply means of stopping. Ah, sorry, I'm not seeing this yet. How do we do this? Right. Okay. I know how we do this. I know how we do this, I think. It's definitely parity, this, I think. Even. I'm trying to use see. I think. Okay. I think that is even. I think. And also that is even. Yeah. Okay. Right. So how about, rather than worrying about this stuff, we make some generic points about numbers? Because what we're being told here, what I'm looking at is this row and this row together. Now, there is a secret in Sudoku. It's something I share with only my very favourite people. If you're watching this video, you're definitely, if you're putting up with the nonsense I've spouted so far, you're one of my very favourite people. Now, the secret of Sudoku, which I'm going to share with you, is that this row of the Sudoku, indeed any row of the Sudoku, contains the digits 1 to 9 once each because of the rules of Sudoku. And therefore we know its sum. And its sum is 45. Which means that these two rows together sum to 90. Now, 90 is not divisible by 4. But it is even. So if we start at this end, that quadrant is divisible by 4, that quadrant is divisible by 4, that quadrant is divisible by 4, that quadrant is divisible by 4. So far we're on perfect 4-ness. And all of these digits together are even. Which means that to get to an even number, 90, these two must sum to an even number, which means that is even. It means by exactly the same logic, which because we can do it here, that is even. So this is 4 or 8 because it already, this is 2 or 6 because it already sees 4 and 8. Now, okay, but this has to be even overall. So it can't have one odd number in it, so that's odd. And now this has to be odd, because otherwise there's an odd number of odd numbers in that quadruple. This is really interesting, actually. This has to be odd, otherwise I've got an odd number of odd numbers in that quadruple, so this is odd. So this is odd. We've managed to build out a 4x4 area of nonsense in the top left. Okay, and does that work over here then? It must do, mustn't it? But oh no, it does, but we don't know. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm saying 2 by 2, 2 by 2, 2 by 2, 2 by 2. So whatever the parity of this is, that will be the same parity. So those are the same parity. And those are the same parity. Yeah, okay, here is a weird point. So the parity is going to continue, isn't it? What I was learning as I was doing these little quadruples is that you always have to be careful with the quadruple overall. So look at this square. That could be odd. Now if it's odd, what's this one? Well, there needs to be an even number of odd numbers in that congregation. So if I make that odd, that is also odd. But if I make that even, by the same token, that's even. So those are always the same. And then that's going to just continue. Yeah, that does just continue. So every domino across these things adds up to an even number. And that must always be true. Or must it? Yeah, that's always true. It's always true. That's beautiful, actually. That's very odd indeed. It's always true because what we can always do in like columns, in any column, in any two columns that don't hit circles, and we've got that example, this example. You can always do the trick where you sort of divide most of the column into quadrants like this. And you would reach the conclusion, therefore, that an extreme domino has to add up to an even number. And once you know that, these two have to have the same parity. And then you just extend the logic. So once that domino has the same parity, whatever you make this, you know this must mimic that parity, because otherwise the parity of that overall will be odd. So you get this striping effect where every domino is the same parity across these lines. So we can immediately do that. So that's now got to be odd as well because of that parity. So What does that mean? That means... Yeah, so that's going to mean, this is a weird point, that all of that, those are all the same parity. Those are all the same parity. Because whatever parity, let's just make this a fictitious parity of purple. We then know both of those are purple, and this couldn't be a different parity, because across that domino and across that domino we would have different parities. So this is all one parity. Now if these are all odd, all of these become even, because we'd have had 10 odd digits in these two rows, and that's the maximum number we can have. Now, same is true here. If these were odd, these would all be even. Oh, I've nearly. Do I know what that digit is? Perfect parity, 4 or 8, 0 remainder, 2 remainder, 3 remainder. So this has to be a 7, I think. Hang on. Hang on. This is interesting, actually. I think this does have to be a 7. And the way I'm seeing that is we've got a 0 remainder digit, a 2 remainder digit, a 3 remainder digit. So net, these are 5 remainder, but then we can collapse that down, divide 5 by 4. We're on a net 1 remainder. And we can prove that differently. Let's make this 4. Then we're on 13, which is obviously divide 13 by 4, it goes into it 3 times with a 1 remainder. If we made this 8 instead, we're on 17, which goes in 4 times with a 1 remainder. So we're on a net 1 remainder. So this has to be a 3 remainder digit. It's odd, so it must be 7 because it can't be 3 by Sudoku. But how... I think what's going to happen in the odd pairs is that 3 and 7 are always going to be clumped together. I might be wrong about this, but the way I'm feeling about that is the following. Let's start afresh. Let's look at this. What I'm thinking about is what you can create from the options that we have available. Yeah, imagine that. We know these have the same parity. This is weird. Okay, we know those two have the same parity. So, is it possible that the purple domino contains 2 digits that sum to a perfect multiple of 4? And I am going to claim no. And that is because columns 6 and 7 in this puzzle, or indeed in any Sudoku puzzle, well, not perhaps, but any normal Sudoku puzzle, sum to 90. 90 is not divisible by 4. So imagine that these two were divisible by 4. So let's say that they were, Well, they can't be in this instance, but let's just say they were 4 and 8. Perfectly divisible by 4. What are these then? Well, the answer is we don't know, but we know together they must also be divisible by 4. If these are divisible by 4, then for this quadrant to be divisible by 4, those two must be divisible by 4. But once these are divisible by 4, we can sort of, what's it called when you do sort of recursive proof in maths? Induction. These two have to be divisible by 4. But then those two have to be divisible by 4. These two have to be divisible by 4. These two, and these two have to be divisible by 4. So overall, this column is made up of dominoes which are perfectly divisible by 4. And that means that the column overall should be divisible by 4, and it's not. 90 is not divisible by 4. So I think that's really weird. What that means is we've already established, haven't we, that parity is preserved across everything. So every domino's parity is the same. Because these two have to add up to even. These two have to add up to even. Actually, did we establish that? Because one thing we didn't think about was what would happen Hang on. Did we establish that? Yeah, it is true. It is true, but it's weird. You can't begin one of these double rows and columns with 2 digits of different parity. I'm now seeing, I mean, maybe I explained this before, but I'm now seeing this in a different way. The reason for that is what do these add up to now? If we're trying to make this quadrant divisible by 4 and these add up to an odd number, these would have to be an odd and an even number. Then these would have to be an odd and an even number. These would, and we're going to run out of even numbers. Because each domino, there are 9 dominoes along this row, one of which, and each domino would have to have an even number, and there would be 9 even numbers in 2 rows of the puzzle. So that's wrong. So actually, every domino is parity, preserves parity, and every domino doesn't add up to a perfect 4 multiple. And we can already see this emerging. Yes, so that means that whenever you see a 7 on these boundaries, they must go with 3. Because the digit opposite 7 here is 159, well, it can't be, but that would give a perfect 4 division, wouldn't it? Add 1 to 7, 8, that's perfect. Add 5 to 7, 12, that's perfect. Add 9 to 7, 16, that's perfect. We can't have any perfect dominoes, we've just proved that. So this is 3, and whenever 3 or 7, I see we're seeing it there, so that's got to be 3, that's got to be 3, that's got to be 7. There is no other way of doing it. This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. Right, the corollary of that is whenever you have a 5 or a 9, you are always going to have a 5 or a 1, 5 or 9 in the opposite dominoes. So now, this is so clever. Right, not of me, I hasten to add, nothing to do with me, but I am starting to see things now. Look, how could those be odd? They can't, because if they're odd, look at this row and column have got a complete set of everything in them. in terms of odd digits, all 10 odd digits are in these cells. But I have to make something here, a 3 and a 7. I've only put one 7 in. There would have to be a in fact, there would, yeah, I mean, maybe that's the easy way of seeing it. Which one of these is a 7? Because there would need to be one that's a 7 in this row as well. I haven't put 7 in, and neither of those can be 7. So that's definitely all even. Same is true here. We know that all of those are the same parity. So if these were, this column needs a, well, this column needs a 7. Neither of those can be a 7. All of those are blue. Now, how do we use that to our advantage? Don't know. I'm not sure. There's probably many ways of doing this, but I've got none of them. None of them to tell you about yet. I've got 3 evens in both of these rows. Oh no, I know what it might be. It might literally be, where can we put 3s and 7s in the grid? Although that doesn't look propitious down here. 3 has to be in one of those squares. Where are the 3s in the grid? 3, no, 3 can't be there. 3 is in one of those cells. But if this was 3, we would know this was 7, but that looks possible actually. Where's 3 in this box? I don't know exactly, but I know it's in one of those. Now I know this is 3, so that I know that's 7 by the logic we've just established. So, okay, so now this is a 3-7 pair, in which are both odd, in box 7. 7, oh yeah, look at that. 7 is in one of those 2 squares, so there must be a 3 in one of these 2 squares. We don't know where it is, but that must be true. So this isn't 3, that's 3. Oh, my phone's buzzing, that's fine. Don't care about that. Oh, look, where's 3 in this box? And the answer is, I don't know. But it's definitely one of those squares by Sudoku, which means this is, oh, no 3 in the corner then. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Now this is 7. Oh, I didn't want a 7 there, but it is 7. How many 7s have we got? Oh, that's not the way to find that out, is it? 7 is in one of those 2 squares. How many? Can we see how many 3s we've got? 1, 2, 1, 2. We've got 7. I see. So we're left with an. We're left with a 7, 3 in one of those. Yeah, and the 7s and the 3s are sort of in a deadly pattern. So we're going to need something else to sort of interfere with that and tell us how the world works. Okay. Oh, here we are. Look, it's easy. It's easy. This domino, how can that be a blue domino? If it's a blue domino, I've got 5 blues in column 1. So those are both odd. This is even. These digits are 1, 5, 9. That makes total sense because together they are not divisible by 4. Now, I see, and oh, look, I can just do the same logic in row 1. This is a brilliant puzzle. What an idea. Right, these can't both be even. I'd have too many evens in row 1. They're both odd. I know they're 1, 5, 9s, but I don't think I know more than that. Okay. These are one of each parity going across here. If these were odd, that would be incredibly useful. These are different parity. Neither of those. If those were all the same parity, they would break evens or odds depending on what they were. So these are different parity. And whichever one of this is even, it has a 4 on it. Because we couldn't have 2 and 6 together in an even domino, because 2 and 6 add up to 8, which is perfect division by 4 parity. And we know that doesn't exist in this puzzle. Oh, I tell you one thing I might be able to do. Hang on. There's a 3 in this domino now. So surely we can work out the other digit. We've got a 1 remainder and a 3 remainder and an 8. So don't we need I was going to say a 4. Is that wrong? I think it's right, because if I've got 3 in one of these, so I think this is a 3-4 pair in order to be divisible by, so that's 24. The only other option here would have been 8 again, which wouldn't have worked. So this is a 3-4 pair, chance for a 3 in the corner. Now, did that take away something that was possible up there? I can't remember. If that's 3-4, what have we got left to put in this box? 1, 2, 5, 6. Let's actually just pencil it in quickly. 1, 2, 5, 6. Now we know. Oh, it's not going to matter, is it? I don't think. Am I wrong? 2 and 6 have the same remainder, so it doesn't really matter which we pick. I don't think it does anyway. These are one of each. Yeah, because these are one of each, these are one of each parity. We've got to remember this. We've got to sort of, each of these dominoes is the same parity. So whatever this is, let me just abandon this colouring for a moment. Whatever that is, these are the same. Now there was some point, wasn't there? Yeah, that's going to be a double purple parity now. This is it. Okay, so that's a double green parity by the logic that we saw in row 8 before. So what I'm saying here is that because 15 is odd, these must be different parity. And because we knew those were different parity, this is therefore purple parity. And therefore this can't also be purple parity, or whatever parity purple preferred. We would have too many P's in the sentence. So, so we do have enough odds in this row, because whichever of green and purple is odd gets us to 5 odds. So that is definitely even. So can that be double even? Perhaps it can. Okay. Oh, but what we can probably do... okay, so in this column now, this is now purple parity in order to correct the counts for this column. I think I'm overcomplicating this, but I'm having a great deal of fun doing it. Okay, now we know that this is one of each parity, so I must be able to get the parity of this, can't I? The actual parity of this, I must be able to. This is one of each. So overall, I've got 3 purples and 2 greens. Oh. What, really? I'm sorry. Okay, that's very unhelpful, isn't it? I think. Because if purple is even, then this is green and it's odd, and this would be 1, 5, and 9. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Okay, what about that pairing then? Do we care about that? We know that one of these is 2 or 6. So we're on 15, which is a 3 remainder. We're adding a 2 remainder digit to that. Oh, hang on, I don't like this. What? I think I've done my maths wrong. Oh, hang on. I think I've got a terminal problem here. What's going on? Hang on, sorry. I'm being very dumb. I know I'm being dumb. I've just got to think about it for a second. I've got 7 and 8. That's 15. To which I'm adding definitely 2 or 6 as my even digit. So I'm on 17. Or I'm on 21. I need a 3 or a 7 as the other. I can't get that. What's going on? Hang on, this doesn't work. So I have made a logical. This can't work down here. I either need a different odd digit, which would mean this logic was wrong, or I need a different even digit, which would mean this logic was wrong. Now, no, but or 3 wasn't down here, because 3 required me to have a 4. But 3... Did I do something wrong then? I've made a mistake. I don't know. I definitely know the mathematics of that box don't work. I'm going to go and revisit why I put 3 down here. Okay, I mean, I worked out 7 was in one of those, so I thought 3 had to be next to it. That's exactly the logic that I thought I was meant to do. Is that... Have I... I put 3 in one of those. Then I said, I remember we thought 3 had to be in one of these. That feels logical. So I placed 3 there. I immediately thought 7 had to be next to it by the logic that we've established. That puts 3 and 7 down there. I promise, trying to work out. 3 is down there now, so that's 3, that's 7. 7 goes there. I do some stuff, and then I deduced that down here I needed a 4. 17 plus 3 is 20. I need a 4. Oh no, there's a circle. Oh, Bobbins McBobbins face. Right. Okay, well at least that makes sense. No, I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't make sense. Okay, but... So I shouldn't have put 4 down there. I shouldn't have put 4 down there. But okay, that's going to help me though, isn't it? Because now can't we make the maths of this work? Okay, so which dominoes do we care about? Let's go back to our earlier colouring. We were doing something like this, and then we said that had to be that. Is it? Yes, this is all still true. In this column, that's now green. So we are in a similar position, but I think with more options in these squares. But I think that additional option is only going to be a good thing, I think. Probably. Yeah, because whichever one of these is odd, and one of them is odd, its contribution to the 7-8 pair is a 1, 5 or a 9 odd digit, because neither of these can be 3 or 7. So this has got a 1, 5 or a 9, which is a 1 remainder digit in one of those two squares. And that's going to correct the count for 7 and 8 plus 1, 5, 9 to a perfect total. And that means there is a 4 in there as the even digit. Unfortunately, we don't know which one. So these are from 4, 1, 5, whoopsie, 1, 5, 9. And then the 4 is going to be across from a 2 or a 6 into one of those squares. And the 1, 5, 9 is going to be across from a 1, 5 or 9. Oh, can I do those now? Oh, maybe. Yeah. If this was the 4, how would this quadrant work? Because we'd be on 4 and 8, perfect. So these two digits, which would both be odd, would need to add up to a multiple of 4. That's got a 1 remainder. We'd need a 3 or a 7 here, which we cannot have. So that cannot be 4. That cannot be 4. This is even. Green is even. Green is even. Purple is odd. This puzzle, by the way, is just brilliant. It is just brilliant. Right, this is 2 or 6. Ah! All I want to do is put 2, 6 in there. This is 2. Oh, that's 2, 6 as well. Yeah, this is 2, 6. So this can't be 2, 6 because we know it can't add to a multiple of 4. This is not 4. This is 1. Oh, it's not 9 actually either. This is 1, 5 or 9. These two digits have the same parity in order to make this a correct domino. There is no circle in there, so this has to be double odd or we get 5 evens. Now this is even in the corner. So this is 3, so that's 3, that's 7. Oh, this is wonderful. That's 7. There we go. Orangify that. Orangify this. Row 1 now has a full orangification, so the corner is even. Now I've got full evens in this column, look. So these are both odd, which might be good. Don't know. Yeah, this can't both be odd, or I've got 6 odds in that column, so that's even. Therefore, that's odd. Now this can't both be odd, or we get 6 odds on the column. It's ludicrous. This is a ludicrous puzzle. I've done this column. Oh no, I haven't. Well, yes, I have actually. All of those have to be even. Now I've done the bottom row. Those have to be odd. I feel like... Oh, no. Okay, I've got to be a bit... Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Look at that domino. That can't be odd. So that's even. Now these are odd. Now these are even. Now this is odd. And if I haven't made a ricket, that's even. And we've done a lot of stuff in a flurry there. Now, okay, so this is 2 or 6 by Sudoku. These are a 4-8 pair by Sudoku. Somehow or other, this all needs to resolve itself now. I must know the options for this digit. It is 1 or... Oh, it's 1 or 5, and whichever it is, that will work. This is 1, 5 or 9. Obviously, all odd dominoes that aren't 3 7s are all 1, 5 9s when they're across these borders. All the 3s and the 7s are done in the puzzle, so somehow or other, you know, digits like this and this. Oh yeah, okay. What's that digit? It's odd, and it sees all the other odd digits. That's 5. So this is now 9. This is now 1. This is now 5. This is ridiculous. This is one of the cleverest puzzles you'll ever see. It's brilliant. What do we need across here? 1, 5 pair into those squares. Where's the 5 in the box? It's there. So 5, 1. Get rid of 1 from there. Get rid of 5 from here. I think I might have overcomplicated it with all my thinking about 3s and 7s and stuff, but I had an absolute whale of a time doing that, so forgive me. Right, this is 9. It can only be 9. 9, 1, 5 here, 9, 5, 9, 1, 9, 5, 1, 5, 9, 1. Oh, careful. 5. Oh, this is 5. 9. I need to put a 1 in this row, and I need to put a 9 in this row. And I think all the odd digits are done now. So hopefully we can just fill in all the even digits similarly. We know that's 4, 8, so we know that's 2, 6. So now we know those two are 4, 8 in the row. So this is 2, 6, which means that must be opposite 4, 8. There's a 6 in the column, so that's quite helpful. That's 2, that's 6. So that's 2 in the corner, 2, 6. 2 by Sudoku. 2 by Sudoku. So that's a 6 by Sudoku because of the 4, 8 pair in the row. These are a 4, 8. This is 2 or 6 apparently. That's 2 or 6 across the domino, and therefore is 6. This is 6 by a similar token, because once this is 4, 8, we have to just make sure these don't add to a multiple of 4, and this can't be a 2. Yeah, so again, I'm not sure if this is how I'm meant to do this, but it's sort of my method for how I'm thinking about this. So now this has to be 2 by the same token, because that's a 4 or an 8. This is a 4 or an 8, and some, yeah, now this 8's going to be useful. 4, 4, 4, 8, 8, 8. Hopefully 4 in the corner. 4, 4, 8, 8, 8. 4, 8, 4, 8. In this column, what are these squares then? That's got to be a 6. That's a 4 and that's an 8. And that's how to solve a thoroughly brilliant puzzle. Good grief, that is so clever. I mean, just brilliant. What can I say? Supware, take a bow. Loads of magnificent new logic in that. Loved it. Loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. Enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.